What's up, Vision Pros? Welcome into another episode of Vision Pros Live. I'm your show host, Jackson Callum, founder and CEO of First Class Business. And I'm excited to have Matt Meredith in the house today. We're talking about somebody who understands both the legal and the financial ramifications of protecting our loved ones long term. This is a subject that's actually near and dear to my heart for a couple of reasons, but I'll just name one for today. One of my best friends growing up, his father was a surgeon. And when he passed away, his wife ended up with absolutely nothing because something happened with the estate planning situation and the hospital that he had a partnership with. She ended up losing everything. So not only did she lose her husband, but she ended up losing her sense of security. And what a horrible experience to have to go through. And so Matt Meredith also has a personal story somewhat relatable to this. And he's also got a lot of expertise when it comes to helping others avoid the same situation. And so we're going to dive into his vision in just a few minutes. All right. Welcome in to Vision Pros Live with Jackson Callum. I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there. All right, my friends, you know the drill. I'm going to go fast on today's sponsorships and opportunities. As you know, these are not paid for. These are just companies and people that I know and love. JourneyToWellnessPlan.com with Dr. Shannon and Dr. Justin Pierce. I cannot highly recommend them enough. Jennifer Reed with Practice Makes Permanent. You want to facilitate great cultures in your business and your brand in order to drive revenues up, in order to take care of people better. I highly recommend calling Jennifer. And of course, the Water Project. I've never been thirsty in my life, but they're helping millions of people who don't have access to clean drinking water. I see their children celebrate water like my kids celebrate Christmas Day. That means there's an amazing opportunity for us to make generational impacts with that organization that is ultra transparent. We give to it every month. I hope that you share that with others. Not that I give. I hope that you share the project with others and dive into the game and see what you can do to help, even if you can't help financially. Back to helping all of you. We've got 8 billion people to help on this world, my friends. Let's dive in together right now. Matt Meredith, I'm putting him on the spot. He's never met me. We had a quick introduction. All he got to say was, let me get my earphones in. And I said, let's do this. Let's go. So Matt Meredith, welcome to Vision Pros Live.
Thank you, Jackson. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Let's hear about your vision. MeridianLG.com is the brand. Anybody go look at that up while we're talking, but let's hear about your vision.
Yes. So my background was kind of the wealth management. I started as an equities trader. When I was in college, my last semester, I had this roommate and he was always in his boxers, always on his phone, and he made a lot of money. And I was like, bro, what do you do? Like, I'm here working 2 jobs trying to get a degree and you're living the life. And he said, you got any money? I said, well, I got some student loan money. He said, well, come on, let's go open a brokerage account. And so we opened it. I never asked, hey, what happens if this goes bad? I just assumed, let's do it. And so I got my introduction into the equities trading side, made a lot of money. In fact, it was so much enjoyment to it that my last semester, my degree was advertising. I had changed it from pre-med because I didn't like blood, but it took me 3.5 years to realize this. And so I started trading. About 2 years later, the same guy came back and said, hey, we're starting a firm. Do you want to come over and be a trader? It may turn into nothing, but at least you get your series licenses. And I said, yeah, let's jump into it. So I got licensed, did that for a couple of years. And then the same company said, hey, we're going to do a trading desk out in Boca Raton. Why don't you go over there and help set this up? And I said, all right. So I went to Boca. After about 3 days, I'm like, I think I'm going to live in Boca from now on. And so lived in Boca, set up the trading desk.
Sand got stuck in your shoes, right?
You know, it was the block from the beach and you could see it. And it was that good smell air. And it was like, this is so much better than Houston. And so, of course,
I'm from San Antonio, so I can laugh at that.
All right, so you know. And so that was fantastic as it was going. But this was in late 2007, early 2008. And so what happens? The whole market decides to crash. And so I'm on a trading desk. I'm running multiple traders, really enjoying the job. And there goes Lehman. And with Lehman, there goes proprietary trading. And so I realized quickly, hey, this industry's done. Like there's not going to be prop traders like there used to be. So I ended up switching into a role that was more advisory. So I got up with JP Morgan, was doing wealth management for their clients at the banks in all places, Norman, Oklahoma. That's a whole nother story of how I got to Norman. But I will point this, don't move to other weird places by following people. So keep your relationships local. And so with that, I got introduced into
Hey
investment
guys,
advice.
he's making fun of the guy who lives down in Ecuador now. Okay, all right, so let's keep going. I've taken my licks for doing this too,
Hey,
so I
look,
get you.
I've done it too. We've all gone to weird places following someone. And so with that, I really got the introduction, but I knew the market. I knew how to talk to people. I was sitting on a trading desk all day with people who would sell stocks to people and would trade and would scream and yell. And so I understood, here comes, Norman, Oklahoma, granny with $700,000 in her bank account. And it was like, oh, well, let's do something with it. And so that was really the introduction into the advisory side. And as I moved around and moved up, I got more certifications, CFP professional license. I went back and got a couple more FINRA series licenses. And I started noticing when I came back and I was with Capital One Investing, there was this massive hole in this industry. Here's what happens. You come to me, I'm your investment manager, your financial advisor, and we start talking. You're like, hey, what's going to happen when I sell this for taxes? And my response is, well, I'm not a CPA. I can't give you that advice. At which point you look at me like, okay, well, can you introduce me to somebody? Yeah, definitely. Let me show you a CPA I use. Or a tax. What's going to happen with my estate plan when I die? Well, I'm not a lawyer. I can't tell you. They kept coming back to me at the firm because I knew this stuff and saying, hey, you're not supposed to give this type of advice, refer it out. Well, here's the problem when you refer it out. You're referring to a CPA, you're referring to an attorney. They're not communicating with each other, they're not communicating with you. So it's all these separate professionals, different silos doing what they're good at, but never really sitting down all together with the client to find out what the client really needs. So what happens? CPA goes off and says, hey, you need to do an S corp, but the attorneys disagrees, or the attorney doesn't do the S corp in the corporation formings. Nobody connects the business back to the estate plan. And so everything is built, but it's not working with each other. It's not aligned.
Right.
And I said, this is a problem. This is a major issue. I'm going to fix this. And that became my goal. And so, how do you
Wow.
fix it? I said, when you go to law school, I'm going to do estate planning and tax law. And then I can bring it all under one house with the investment side as well. And then I can really do that type of work. And that was how Meridian was formed. Of course, it took a few years after finishing law school, getting the bar to really learn everything and build it out. But ultimately, that is what I wanted to build, where it's that one-stop shop. You come in for estate planning or for business or for asset protection, tax strategy. You need a good CPA to handle taxes, but it's no longer separating the people. I sit down with the CPA. I sit down with the other attorneys. If there's an outside investment advisor, he better show up to the meeting, or we're going to have a talk with the client about what are you paying this guy for, because he's not even coming to the meetings. And then it's looked over. And the CPA who I'm talking to, as we're sipping coffee in the morning, tells me, hey, we need to do an S corp election, build it out this way. Okay, not a problem. Or hey, this guy wants to do a tax strategy. He's getting into an oil and gas depreciation syndication. I don't want it being taken from him. If he gets sued, do something about it. And so now the plan is aligned completely with everything going on in their life, but it's also one person who knows everything about this client now versus, oh, well, tell your attorney to call me. No, I am the attorney. I'm the CPA. Like, we're all that one person. And it's phenomenal because, I don't have time to go see 5 professionals. I don't have time to do 5 meetings a year with all these people. I got like an hour. Cram it
Let
all
me
in
pause
there.
you on that though. Let me pause you on that one. Visionaries, you do have the time. Stop lying to yourself. And more
Very true.
importantly, you need the right people. You don't know where to find the right people. That's the real answer. And that's okay. And to Matt's point, that's why I'm actually very intrigued by what his vision is. Matt, we just released today episode 2561. That's a lot of visionary leaders, most of whom are entrepreneurs. And how many of them have great tax strategists? I can tell you maybe 100 maximum if we're being really, really good. How many of them have a great legal advisor? Maybe 50 of those if we're being, again, being nice on this and cushy. How many of them have the right person by their side to help them connect all that stuff? Oh my gosh, Matt, this is like beyond pandemic, beyond epidemic. Like it's there's a reason why 96% of businesses fail within 10 years. And there's a reason why those 4% who win, they're surviving. They're
Mhm.
not actually crushing it. The wealth is staying too much at the top, if you will. And it's not their fault. It's because we aren't figuring out how to do things. We aren't looking at the variables, and we're not willing to address the reality that we need help on this if we need the right people. So my next question for you, Matt, don't say what I want to hear. Say your truth. Are you scaling?
That is the goal. That has always been the goal, to grow out, bring in more legal advisors on the tax side, on the law side. So right
And I
now,
know it's hard. It's hard. You got to find the right people. You got to build the infrastructure. You got to pay for all that too. There's a lot of stuff there, but Vision Pros, this is one of my favorite potential episodes possible if Matt can pull off what he's trying to pull off, because we all desperately need it. You're not going to find people on the street or around the block in your local town that have the same type of ambition and are willing to pull this off for the masses. And I say masses, I'm not talking about the 300 million Americans. I'm talking about the millions of business owners. Oh, there are so many out there who need help with all of these assets. And how can we become wise stewards, my friends, if we don't even understand this stuff? How can we become wise stewards if we're too scared to talk to people like Matt Meredith? We have to learn what is it that we need to know in order to interview properly with people like Matt Meredith, and use ChatGPT or AI, use Claude. It's way better. But besides the point, go to it and ask, like, what are the questions I should be asking? How do I protect myself in this scenario? Who else is in the business of this game? And start looking at how can you make sure that these elements are aligned? Because as one of my great mentors through this show, Ravi VC, says, great, I don't know if I call him a venture capitalist, but he is definitely an investor, said it is the treasury that wins the war.
very true.
The business, the company, the nation, the entity that has a great treasury is going to find a way to figure it out, because they can stand the storms that come their way and the trials and the financial collapses. If you've got the treasury to help yourself out, then you can win. So we need people like Matt Meredith by our side. Matt, for the visionaries who are out there, one final piece of wisdom. If this is the last chance you had to guide visionary leaders, what would your guidance be?
I think the first thing is, don't worry about what you don't know. You will figure it out. I spent so much time in the past stressing over things I didn't know and worried to go figure it out. And then it takes me 20 minutes to go figure it out when I do it. So I spent 2 weeks obsessing over something that, had I just sat down at that moment and figured it out, what can I do with 2 weeks? Like, I could eat a lot of potato chips on my couch and pizza, watch a few movies, and not obsess over things. And that's the main thing that I tell people. You don't have to have the answers. You figure it out. Now, it always helps if you can go to somebody who, hey, this is what I'm doing, help me figure it out. But don't overstress over it. The other thing is, let let go of the ego and the overconfidence. When you talk about estate plans failing, businesses failing, it's because these people who, I'm a phenomenal doctor, I know it all. I'm a phenomenal lawyer, I know it all.
Oh,
Yet they never ask somebody else, hey, would you take a look at this and just let me know if I'm on the right way? And what do you see? Oh, well, this is a great operating agreement from 20 years ago. You still got your dead partner's name on it. So what's going to happen when you
yes.
die? So things
Yes,
like
this is
that.
so important.
It's, don't be
That's it.
afraid to ask. Yeah.
It goes back to one of my favorite quotes, my friends. I don't share it a lot because it's kind of morbid, but it is so true and overlooked. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. None of us, this is not a quote for Alexander the Great. This is a quote for every single one of us. 99.9% of entrepreneurs are in an absolute power situation. And what happens? You end up corrupted whether you like it or not. So dive into that humility. Don't dive into fear. That doesn't help. Like Matt said, dive into action and find people who can help you out. Matt, this is amazing. I hope to bring you back. That would be awesome too. And Vision Pros, if you want to join us in the show, visionproslive.com. In the top right corner, it says be our guest. Go on there and apply and come share your vision with us. We'll see you soon. Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.